You know exactly what you need to do right now. You know how critical it is for your future and your career, but you're still just sitting there. The computer screen is still bright, but your mind is drifting into the void. 1 hour passes, then 2. The longer you procrastinate, the tighter your chest feels with anxiety. You start beating yourself up. Why am I so terrible at this? Why can't I be more disciplined? Am I just a lazy person? Stop for a second. Take a deep breath. I want to tell you a truth that will dispel that guilt immediately. You are not lazy, and you are not undisciplined. The paralysis you are feeling isn't because you are superficial. On the contrary, it's because you care too much. You are afraid you won't do it well enough. You are afraid of imperfection. That fear is what's freezing you, not laziness. So stop punishing yourself. Forgive yourself, relax your body, and let's untangle this emotional knot together. Here are 5 truths that will give you a completely different perspective and help you break free from procrastination. 1. The common myth. I am lazy and lack discipline. How many times have you looked in the mirror or looked back at a day where you accomplished nothing and labeled yourself, I am lazy and undisciplined? Most of us, and I believe you too, punish ourselves with the thought that procrastination stems from a lazy nature or terrible time management skills. But today, I want you to stop and look at this truth more fairly. Observe a genuinely lazy person. When they choose to do nothing, how do they feel? They enjoy that idleness. They lie on the couch, minds at ease, without a ripple of anxiety. For them, not working is pure joy. But what about you? Think back to the times you procrastinated. Were you actually enjoying it? Or were you scrolling through social media while your chest felt like it was crushed by a heavy stone of anxiety? Your mind wasn't resting. It was screaming, agonizing, and blaming itself for the unfinished tasks. You didn't have a single moment of peace. You were suffering even when you looked like you were playing. That agony, that pain, is the undeniable proof you are not lazy. Lazy people don't suffer from unfinished work. Only responsible people, people who truly yearn to do well, people with high standards, feel that kind of suffering. This is why external solutions fail. You buy beautiful to-do list planners. You download the latest time management apps. You reorganize your desk, but you end up back at square one. Why? Because you can't heal a psychological wound with a physical band-aid. A task list can't save you when the problem isn't the clock on the wall, but the emotional clock in your heart. You don't lack time. You lack emotional safety to start. So instead of forcing yourself into ironclad discipline immediately only to be disappointed, start with understanding. You don't need to fix who you are because you aren't broken. You just need to learn to forgive your own fear so you can move forward. 2, the core truth. It's an emotional regulation problem. Let's be honest for a moment. Is the act of opening a laptop to draft a document or making a business call actually life-threatening? Definitely not. Physically, they are incredibly simple actions. Pressing a button, reading text, typing keys. So why is it that every time you think about them, your chest tightens and your limbs want to freeze up? The truth is, you aren't avoiding the work. You aren't afraid of the computer screen or the keyboard. You are avoiding a storm of negative emotions waiting to crash down right after those actions. First, there's the fear of judgment and failure. When you intend to start a new project, your mind doesn't think about the process. It projects straight to the worst case scenario. What if the results are bad? What if people judge my ability? At that moment, the work is no longer just work. It becomes a trial regarding your value as a human being. Second, there is overwhelm. When you look at a backlog of work or a complex plan, you don't see step 1, step 2. You see a giant mountain with no way up. That feeling of helplessness is so scary that the brain chooses to close its eyes and ignore it to find a fake sense of peace. And most dangerous of all is perfectionism. It whispers in your ear, if you can't do it perfectly, don't do it at all. You are not allowed to make mistakes. Because you have high self-esteem and care too much about the result, you'd rather do nothing than face a flawed product. At this point, your brain, with its primitive survival instincts, identifies these tasks as a threat. It equates messing up a report with encountering a predator. And what does it do? It activates the optimal defense mechanism: run away. It commands your hands to open your phone, scroll through social media, watch entertainment news. Not because you love playing, but to drag your attention away from that threat. It is trying to save you from mental pain in a clumsy and harmful way. Understand this to see. You are not weak or broken. Your brain is just trying to protect you, but in the wrong way. Thank it for its good intention, but gently tell it, thank you for worrying, but doing this is safe. It's okay if we do a slightly bad job. 3. The trap of the procrastination, guilt loop. Imagine procrastination not simply as a bad habit, but operating exactly like an addiction mechanism. This is an incredibly sophisticated psychological trap, and if we aren't alert, it will swallow us whole every day. Let's dissect how this machine operates inside you. Step 1, the alarm signal. It starts when you face a difficult task like business planning or debt resolution. Immediately, your brain signals stress. Heart beats faster, chest tightens. Instead of seeing a challenge to overcome, the brain labels it as pain to be avoided. Step 2, the temporary painkiller, avoidance. To soothe that pain, you reach for a numbing agent. You open a new tab, surf the web, watch shorts. These actions provide a quick and easy hit of dopamine, feel-good hormones. In that moment, you feel safe. All anxiety about money or the future seems to vanish. You are hiding in a cozy bunker. Step 3, the side effect, consequences, and guilt. But that relief is a spectacular trick. It only lasts 5 to 10 minutes. When the drug wears off, reality returns. But this time, it's more brutal. The work is still there, time is lost, and worst of all, guilt kicks in. You start abusing yourself. Why am I so weak? I've wasted my life again. This shame hurts even more than the initial pressure. Step 4, the loop's deception. Repeat. This is where the tragedy happens. When you feel overwhelmed by guilt and pain, what does your brain crave? It craves soothing. And the only way it knows to soothe itself quickly is to go back to step 2. You procrastinate again to hide from the very guilt that procrastination caused. The most dangerous part, neural training. The scary part isn't that you wasted a few hours. The scary part is that every time you repeat this cycle, you are carving a deep groove in your brain. You are teaching your nervous system a false lesson. Whenever you feel discomfort, the best solution is to run away. Day by day, this path becomes a superhighway. The reflex to flee becomes automatic and so strong that you feel you can't control it. It becomes your second instinct. But remember, this is a biological mechanism, not your character. A machine that has been programmed can be reprogrammed. Identifying this loop is the first step to diffusing the trigger and taking back control of your life. 4, mindset shift. Separating emotion from action. There is a disastrous misunderstanding about discipline that many people have. We think a disciplined person is someone who feels no fear, someone with an iron will that cannot be shaken. And so we wait. We wait for the day the fear disappears, wait for the day we feel totally confident to start. But the truth is, that day will never come. To become disciplined, you don't need to eliminate fear. If you wait until you aren't afraid to act, you will wait forever. The secret isn't no fear, but learning to work alongside fear. Treat fear like a passenger in the backseat of your car. It can scream, it can point fingers, it can yell, "Watch out!" But you are still the one behind the wheel. You are the one deciding where the car goes. The first step to regaining control is to name the fear. Fear usually expands when it is vague. When you just feel a general jittery anxiety, it's like a monster in the dark. But when you turn on the light and point at it, I'm afraid people will mock my project. Or I'm afraid of doing the process wrong. Suddenly, the monster shrinks into a specific problem. It loses its mystery and its overwhelming power over your mind. The second important thing, Feelings are not commands. This is a liberating distinction. Emotions are what you feel, heart racing, shaking hands, tight stomach. Actions are what you do. These two tracks can run parallel, but don't have to match. You can absolutely feel so scared you want to throw up, but your hands can still rest on the keyboard and type one letter at a time. You can feel like not doing it, but your feet can still walk. That is the definition of courage. Acting even when the body is trembling. Finally, drop the biggest burden. Stop betting your self-worth on the outcome of the work. You are a complete human being, loved and valuable, regardless of whether your work succeeds or fails. A video with few views doesn't mean you are an uninteresting person. A struggling business project doesn't mean you are a failure. An imperfect product doesn't define you as a defective human. When you cut the cord linking achievement and human value, you will feel incredibly light. Then, failure is just data to learn from, not a death sentence for your self-esteem. And when you no longer fear that sentence, you will find your feet are lighter, ready to take the first step. 5. Action strategy. Shrink it to start. When you set massive goals like build a successful career or solve all financial problems, you are standing at the foot of a giant mountain. What is the natural human reaction when looking up at a towering peak? Dizziness, overwhelm, and the desire to turn around and run. Your brain, in an effort to protect its owner from overload, screams, "Too dangerous. This is too much. Don't do it." And so you freeze. To break this paralysis, you don't need the willpower of a superhero. You need the wisdom of a strategist. You have to trick your frightened brain by shrinking the task. Shrink it until it becomes laughable. Shrink it until your brain cannot find any logical reason to refuse. Instead of ordering your brain must finish this huge project right now, a command causing immense pressure, say gently, "I just need to open the document file. Opening it is enough." Instead of the pressure, must process that pile of backlog work, say, "I will just reply to exactly one email. Just one. That's it." Why is this effective? Because opening a file or replying to one email are actions that cause no pain. They are too easy, they take no effort. Therefore, they slip past the fear's defense perimeter. But the magic happens right after, the law of inertia. Science proves that the greatest resistance is always at the starting line. Once you push the car to roll even just a little, it will coast on its own. If you can just start for 2 minutes, the resistance will pop like a soap bubble. You will find yourself doing the second thing, then the third, naturally. And one final, extremely important thing, drop the rock of guilt from your shoulders. You cannot climb a mountain if you keep carrying a backpack filled with torment about the days you procrastinated in the past. "I should have done this sooner. I'm so terrible." Those thoughts don't help you run faster. They only weigh you down and make you want to collapse. Forgive the version of you from yesterday. The past is gone. You only have this present moment to act. Discipline isn't doing extraordinary things every day or fighting tooth and nail. True discipline is the ability to sit down, negotiate gently with fear, and do one tiny thing even when the emotions inside are telling you to stop. Here's what changes when you understand this. You stop seeing procrastination as a character flaw, and you start seeing it as a signal. It is just your brain signaling, "This task is important, and I am scared." The real secret isn't becoming more disciplined through force, but becoming more emotionally resilient. It is the ability to sit with discomfort, anxiety, and fear, and still get to work. Don't wait until you feel ready. Don't wait for motivation. Separate your human value from the result of the work. An imperfect video doesn't make you a failed human being. An unproductive day doesn't mean you are useless. So, right now, what do you need to do? Don't think about finishing. Don't think about perfection. Just think about starting. Choose the smallest possible step. Open a blank document. Write down one word. Send one message. That's it. Do that tiny action and notice that the world didn't end. You are still okay. The uncomfortable feeling is still there, but you are stronger than it. You are not broken. You are not a bad person. You are just scared because you yearn to do well. You yearn to live a meaningful life. That fear proves you have a heart. Take that fear, name it, and walk with it. Not easily, not perfectly, just walk. Because on the other side of that discomfort is everything you have been looking for. Peace, purpose, career, and the best version of yourself. It is all just one start away.